Honestly, you've no idea the restraint it took me to not open this bag when I got home last night and to wait because I wanted to do it with you. I'm just back from a really lovely vintage shopping trip in Barcelona, and I've got a lot of treasure to show you. I've been restraining myself. I got home last night and I've been restraining myself from opening this bag so that we could do it together. So as you know, I've been in Barcelona. Thank you all so much for following along. If you haven't checked out those videos yet, I will link them below so you can see some of the amazing places that I went shopping. I also had an incredible time at the Museum of Design in Barcelona, which I highly recommend, which is also in my previous videos. So go have a look at those if you haven't. And then this is the bounty that came from that trip. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who popped by over the last few videos and said hi and made a comment. I just love that. It lights me up. I love connecting with you all. And if it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Kerry. I'm a style mentor. I specialize in vintage clothing. And I say style mentor over stylist because I don't believe me telling people what to wear is an empowering thing to do. I like to connect women to their own creative expression and to help them remember who they are and give them the tools to visually express that through clothing. That's what I really love to do. I just love to see women become empowered, and it's such a fun way to do it through fashion. I've been a therapist, a trauma therapist for over 15 years, and to take that experience and knowledge and bring it into a world that I truly love, which is of course the world of clothing and vintage and creativity. It's a really fun and rewarding experience for me. Clothes have been and remain to be an enormous part of my self-expression, and they've been a huge part of my journey of stepping into myself more authentically and stepping into my confidence and owning myself and who I am when we all live in a world that favors sameness. I find clothing an incredibly valuable tool to use to empower ourselves, to get to know who we truly are, and to develop the confidence to express who we truly are out into the world. And that has an enormous ripple effect into the rest of our lives. It seems like such a simple thing, our clothing, but it's actually a very impactful thing. It's how we show up. We get dressed every single day, and in that process, we have an opportunity to say something about ourselves and to create a statement about who we are in the world, about how we feel about what's happening in the world, about where we want to put our money in terms of investment into what we want to see in the world in the future. Do we want to see more fast fashion and poorly treated workers and negative impact on our climate, or do we want to reuse what we have and love what we already have and see the beauty in what we already have and reinvent it again and again and again? And that's certainly the world I live in, and that's the world I invest my money in. And that's what I wear. That's part of my expression. We can often feel very disempowered about all the tragedy that's happening in the world around us, and there's very little we can do. But there's a huge thing what we can do is we can make a big statement. We can choose where to invest our money. Enough about that. Let's get into these clothes. So as a style mentor, I'm very conscious about the shopping choices that I make. And I have a huge collection, and I have collected vintage for years and years and years. So I have a lot of things. There's not many things that I truly need. So when I go on a shopping trip like this, I'm very intentional about what I want to buy, because when you go somewhere like Beatrice's fantastic store in Las Pepitas, somebody like me, I could get incredibly excited there and completely blow a budget because I just want everything. So it's important to stay grounded in the thrill of all of that and to remember what we came for and what we're searching for, and that we can enjoy things. We don't have to take everything home. So ways I stay grounded within all that is I identify the things I do need, and I make a little list of things I genuinely need. This time I genuinely needed jeans, no baggy, loose, relaxed jeans, and I really wanted those. I needed a new pair of denim shorts for the summer. My other ones they're toast at this stage. They're worn beyond repair, I think. And I needed a new pair of denim shorts. I wear those a lot during the summer. I needed some corset tops. So like little antique pieces like this, but they're corset covers that women would have worn over their corset. And they're kind of like my white t-shirts. I live in those as opposed to a white t-shirt. I mean, I have a wish list of holy grail items that I'm always open to finding. Things on that would be like a vintage velvet suit that's been on my wish list for years and I haven't found one yet. Like dream color would be in like a teal green, a trouser suit, or bright red. burgundy or purple would be lovely too. Vintage t-shirts are a thing that I love to find. So those are my lists, and then it's like what I currently need. And then I allow for a wow piece. That's the thing with vintage. You often find things that you're not looking for that you don't even know exist, and you're like, wow. So I leave space for a wow piece. What I do is throughout the year, I'm refining my wardrobe, and I will sell things that I truly feel I no longer resonate with, or I've had my time with them and it's time to pass them on. So I'll sell some things online, and I allow that money to accumulate in a little pot. So then that's my budget. So I can go in a vintage shop and I know what my budget is. It's been acquired from those past items. So this way you can continue to shop, you're keeping things in circulation, and you're not overdoing your spending, which is also a very important factor. And one of the best things about vintage that not many people talk about is its resale value. Vintage holds its value. And as someone who's collected vintage for a long time, often when I'm out and about, I might see something that I might have bought 10 years ago or more recently, and I might see something similar to it, but better. In that scenario, if the thing I prefer is better, I'll ask myself, am I willing to let go of the one I have to get this version of, say it's a silk slip dress. Like I have a lot of those. I've put a ban on me buying any more of those. I don't need any more. So if I was to see one that was really amazing, I'd say, okay, well, am I willing to let go of one of the ones I have to acquire this piece? That's a really good question because it tests how much you really want this piece. Like, is it really that you want it, or are you just caught up in the moment? If you are honestly willing to let go of something that you already love, that you have, because this piece is actually better, that's really indicative of how much you want this piece. And then I would go home and put that piece that I agreed to, and you've got to keep your promise to yourself. I would put that piece that I agreed to sell online, and then I would send that money back to my bank account as if I borrowed it from myself. That's a really good way of just not over consuming and minding your budget and refining your personal style. So it's getting more true and true to you as time goes by. I'm not going to make you wait any longer. Let's actually get into what I bought in Barcelona. I've moved over here, so we've more space for me to show you everything. So I think I'll start with the pieces that I found from Beatrice at Las Pepitas, the warehouse. And then I have a pile of denim to show you. And then this little bag of treasure may just be the most special little bag of treasure I've ever acquired. There's some really special pieces in here, and I'm really excited to show you. So just starting off here, I got some corset covers. These are all from Beatrice at Las Pepitas. And these were, as I said, these are like white t-shirts to me. I wear them all the time. Where I live, actually, there's very little in terms of vintage. So when I do go on a trip, I love to vintage shop because I don't really get to do that where I live so much. That's why as well I make a list. I am thinking in advance and I'm more organized and intentional about it because I don't get to find things like this where I live. They've got different patterns on them, different lace. They were originally underwear for the Victorians. They wore their corset and then they wore these over top. So because of that, the waist is very tiny on them. But sometimes I just leave the bottom button open like that because I think on this one, for example, it won't close. On the other one, it does. But the waists tend to be really small. If you are going to buy these online, do take measurements. And then also the bust can feel a lot larger because originally there would have been ribbon sewn, well, just threaded through there, which you can replace. You can put a nice little ribbon. This one doesn't have it, but often here, if you do try them on, you might notice, the bust is gaping and the waist is too small. If the bust is gaping, just get a nice ribbon and pop it through there, and then you gather it together. You saw me find this piece at Las Pepitas, and it's so beautiful. I imagine it's 1920s or 30s, and it needs a steam and a clean and everything like that. But I just love it. It's silk. I love how worn and faded the colors are, and I love the different tones of green. So I'm incredibly excited about this. This is a wow piece for me, and this is something I know I'll get a lot of wear out of. I wear dusters a lot. I love to layer them over slip dresses or jeans or even shorts in the summer. So I'm really, really excited about this piece. This is a beautiful 1920s silk blouse. I really love this, and it's gorgeous. It's the dye is a little bit run in it, but I don't mind that so much. For me, vintage does not need to be perfect. It's the imperfections that make it so special. The sleeves on this were teeny tiny. So I'm opening them up. I've started it. I've just opened them up because I couldn't try it on. I couldn't get my arms in it. So sometimes you'll find that with vintage pieces. Some areas can be tiny, like maybe the armpits, or in this case, the wrists. But it's often a very easy fix just to open it up. And anything that you can't do, or if you're not a sewer, like everything is on YouTube. You can learn to do all of it on YouTube. I've only learned to sew recently. And as a vintage collector, it's a great skill to have. As anyone, it's a great skill to have. It makes vintage a lot easier because there's often little things that you could do to make things suitable for your body type that you may not necessarily be willing to bring to a tailor. But if you can do it yourself at home, yeah, it's fun. So I love this. And Beatrice actually gave me this as a gift because I bought a couple of pieces, which was really sweet. And I love it. I just love that. This next piece is incredible. Well, it is to me anyway. This is something I'm so happy to have found and just to have as part of my collection. It's so beautiful. It is probably, myself and Beatrice were talking about it, it's definitely 18th century, which is wild. This really is a piece of fashion history. You can see how it's made, and I love how you can see how all of the threading, everything's been embroidered. It's stunning. So this, of course, would have been worn with lots of padding on the hips. You know, they wore those bustle pannier, or the hip padding, you know, to make the hips come out so fabulously as they did. And you can see the back of the detail there, the way it's gathered is just beautiful. It's too small for me, it doesn't fit around my hips. But I would still wear that actually layered over a skirt, another skirt, and then belted. I think I could do some really cool styling with that. However, that is not why I bought it. I am going to wear it like this, which I think is so fab as a cape. It's so beautiful, and it's just a lot more practical. And look at that. I just love pieces that I can get that much versatility out of and wear in different ways. But I really see myself wearing it like this the most. I love it. Love, love, love. It's so beautiful and just something really special to have. How fun. And I would wear this over a dress. I'd wear it just with jeans and a little top. But maybe we'll style this up in a minute and see what we do with it. So that was everything from Beatrice. There were some pieces that I had to leave behind, even though I loved, like I really loved the smoking jacket. I was very tempted to take that, but you know, we can't take everything. But the smoking jacket was one, and there's so many things there, great dresses and everything, but that was what I chose to come home with, and I'm really happy with that. So next, look at the jeans. This is a pair of vintage Levi's. I do really love Levi's, the wear, the denim, and I love the cuts on these. They're great. And then these are really interesting. So I really wanted loose, baggy fitting jeans. I have plenty of other jeans, and these I thought were super cool. They're upcycled, and I'm really going to have to try these on for you to see. But they're made out of two pairs of jeans. So they've made the legs wider by adding these in. And these are men's. They're really big. They're much too big a size for me, but I like that. It's going to be nice and relaxed, and I'll just tie them together with a belt. And these are all from the same seller. I found these at some little market. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I'll put the link below. And she was such a lovely Italian lady. They were €45 each, but I bought 3 pairs. She gave them to me for 30 each. And she gave me, I was going to buy a jacket as well, and she gave me the jacket as a gift. So that was incredibly generous and such a good price. I mean, vintage Levi's, you can pay anything from €60 to, like, we can go into the hundreds, €200-300, depending on where you buy them, and obviously the rarity. Like, there's some collectors in the US and everything where you can pay hundreds and hundreds for some really rare pieces. But we're talking just normal average jeans here. If they're from 70s or earlier, which I prefer to look for, they are usually like 70 euro would be a really good price, up to, depending on the rarity, 100, 200. So these were really well priced. And these orange tabs with the white piping, these are quite rare. And also they've upcycled these ones as well. So I really love the tag of the other pairs down here at the leg. So these were really, really well priced. And that was one thing I noticed about Barcelona. So there's not, the vintage shops are predominantly, and it's sadly kind of the case everywhere now, that the vintage shops are predominantly 90s Y2K kind of stuff. And I get it, that's what the younger generation are into. And I think it's super cool that they're repurposing and wearing all those clothes. I think it's amazing. But as a collector, as somebody who's looking for true vintage, which is what anything from really the 80s and before is referred to, is true vintage. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what I value as vintage, because once we get into the 90s and the Y2K era, technically those pieces are vintage, yeah, because they're 20 years older or more. However, for me, they don't have what makes vintage really special, which is the craftsmanship, the quality of the clothing. Fast fashion was already in play in the 90s. So a lot of stores today are selling 90s and Y2K stuff, and they'll even have a lot of fast fashion thrown in there, like secondhand, which I find frustrating as somebody who's shopping true vintage, because you can waste a lot of time going to vintage stores and get there and it's not actually real vintage. It's either, there can be a lot of secondhand stuff in there, and I really wish that sellers would differentiate that more clearly. So what I do when I'm shopping is I always look up on Google Maps, look at the shop and look at the photos and get an idea for, is it true vintage or is it more 90s and Y2K? And don't get me wrong, I think it's fantastic, as I said, that those clothes are being repurposed and that there's an interest in them and that younger people are making vintage fashion so popular. I think that's so important. I just wish that some of the shops made that more clear, because especially for people who are new to vintage and hoping to find something special, and then they just look up a vintage store and go, and it can be a pretty disappointing experience and just a waste of your time. So all of that to say that Barcelona has a lot of those stores. However, when you do find true vintage, it's priced really well, like maybe better than anywhere I've been shopping in the last 3 to 5 years. It feels like it's still charging vintage prices from years ago today. And that was really nice. So you will find a couple of shops that have true vintage mixed in between the more Y2K stuff. And I mean, it's really good value. And then there was another shop that I went to, which was called Vintage AE5, something like that. I'll list that below. And that was a true vintage shop. And he had an amazing collection and really well priced stuff, like 1930s dresses for like 35 euro. Not many 1930s, but a lot of 70s stuff and 60s stuff. He had dead stock Levi's for 40 euro, 50 euro, really well priced. So Barcelona is very well priced when you do find the vintage that you're looking for. They're not my size, a little bit too small. Brand new. These are vintage dead stock. So dead stock is when items never sold, vintage items that have never been worn, still have the tags on, they're dead stock. And those are 60 euro. That's an incredible price. We've got more here. How cool. Oh my gosh, I love those. These are, I'm not sure if it's showing up, but they're like butter yellow. 50 euro, another great price. There's a little treasure trove in here. Got collectibles, lovely jewelry, some books. Yeah. Really great hats. I've tried them all on, of course, but unfortunately they don't fit me. Lots more jewelry here. Up on the higher shelves, you've got some really, really special pieces. The light is not so great, I'm sorry, but you can see some great pieces up here. This black and gold piece here is wonderful. I love this very 1960s kind of swing coat there. Love that. Also, the prices here are incredible. Really, really reasonable for what they are. And then some great 70s pieces down here. Let's have a look. It's a great vintage jumpsuit. So just to give you an example, a very lovely little cotton dress, €22. Lovely cotton night dress, €20. It's clown core. It's lovely. I mean, €27. These are excellent prices for what they are. This is the third pair. Again, they're really big, but I like the slouchy fit. And then they've got like a lighter pair paddle in the back, and they're all upcycled using extra pairs of denim, which I love. But I'll really have to try these on for you to see. And then this is the jacket that she gifted me for buying with those jeans, which was so lovely and sweet. Honestly, you've no idea the restraint it took me to not open this bag when I got home last night and to wait because I wanted to do it with you. So I'm really excited to open it now because it's been a couple of days since I've seen what's in here. And this was a real treat for me. I don't usually buy this much, but I found a lot of things here and they were things that I needed. Shorts was the other thing on my need list, and I wanted little vintage tap shorts, you know, the 1930s, 1920s silk tap shorts. Let's get into this. Look at all that yumminess. So I got this beautiful antique lace top. It's gorgeous, and the cotton is so light and lovely and breezy. That's what I was talking about earlier with the other corset covers that I was showing you, that the bust can appear really big when you try it on, because you need to put some ribbon in sometimes so that you can gather it and it will fit. And then another corset cover top. This is like bigger, which I like just for a looser look. So the other ones are much more fitted. I got these pink silk shorts. These, of course, are underwear, but I will wear them as shorts, like with a little top, with any of those little tops and a cool pair of boots or sandals or whatever in the summer. I'll get a lot of wear out of those. Love these ones. This is my color. These are really beautiful, 1920s again, beautiful silk, and yeah, I'll wear those as shorts. And then I love these ones. These are white cotton, gorgeous, light, airy, breezy. I haven't actually bought summer pieces in quite a few years, and that's the wonderful thing about really knowing your personal style and buying vintage, is that you love the pieces that you have so much that once a new season comes around, you're really excited to wear the pieces from last season again. You're not constantly looking for things, but shorts were something I did need, so it was really nice to find quite a few. These are really, really special. You can see the delicate lace and the cotton, and I just love them. So light and easy to wear, and just really beautiful. And then this piece, which is very similar to the shorts. I don't think they're a set. I'm pretty sure they're different. I found them in different spaces, but this is very similar in terms of that light cotton, and the detail of the lace is just incredible. And they'll be lovely together, but also separately. They're not a set as far as I know. And you can see there the little holes that a ribbon can go through there, and it can be gathered if I want to do that. There's more. This is the last of it. And this is kind of a dream piece for me. It is a dream piece for me. I couldn't believe when I found this. It's been a holy grail piece for me for a long time. So to find one was, yeah, amazing. Oh yeah, I got this too. I'll show you this first. I just got this beautiful little pin. Gorgeous. I love the black and the soft pink or peach together. I love finding antique ribbon. It is pretty hard to find. Usually find it at markets and places like that. So I really love to find it. I style with this a lot. I use it as belts or little neckties like this. I just love that polka dot one. So cute. And then gorgeous. Lilac is another favorite color of mine. You know, so they can be lovely to use as belts. This beautiful soft pink. Or you can tie them. Sometimes I just tie them onto a bag, or, you know, if you want a bit of color, you can put them in your hair. I forgot about those. That was a nice little surprise. And I got this amazing bustier. It's a much larger size. It's kind of a corset bustier. It's got a corset design at the back. And it is way too big, but I will just remove some of that panel because the front part fits me fine. But I collect these. I wear these a lot, especially in the summer. I love to layer them under things, but just wear them as tops as well. So that's a really beautiful one. And then this is my holy grail piece. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I found this, and I can't believe that it fit me. But I've wanted one of these forever. It's a real antique corset. If you saw me in Brick Lane in that video in London, I was trying them on and I didn't find one. You know, they're usually tiny. So that's it. And then the back. Oh, I mean, oh, I just love it. It's got the little strings there for the garter belts. This is so beautiful. It's in such good condition. And I love the little, this is still here. These are usually missing the little hook. But another piece of history that I feel so grateful to have acquired. And I mean, the condition is phenomenal. This piece is probably early 1900s, like very early. Yeah, so excited. Can't wait to style these up. So maybe I'll style a couple of pieces now. I won't style everything or we'll be here all day. But I will style a couple of pieces now. The place where I found these, I'm going to keep it as a surprise for you because I had a lovely time there, such a lovely time. And the woman whose collection it is so lovely. And we had lots to chat about with our shared love of vintage, of course. And when I was there, I was just thinking how much I would love to bring you there and show you everything because it's exquisite. So I spoke to the lady who owned it. She's so lovely. And she has agreed to let me come and do a video there. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you everything. We can do try-ons and you can see what else she has because it's really spectacular. So stay tuned. That'll be coming. I'm not sure exactly when I'll go back, but it won't be too far away. And she also has an incredible bridal selection. And so somebody's mentioned that here to me before. Let me know, is anyone else interested? If there's a big interest in it, I could do maybe a separate video on bridal wear and go into it in more detail. Regardless, I'll definitely show you the bridal collection that's there because, I mean, it's just beautiful to see. The best part, of course, of coming home from a trip like this is trying everything on and styling them all. Okay, so first up, I'm just showing you one of these little corset cover tops. They're so lovely to wear. They're so light. I need to fix that little thread there. This one has this lovely ribbon and I've just popped it on with one pair of the vintage upcycle jeans, which I really like. They're really big, which is what I wanted. Like they're big and slouchy on me. And what's really cool is have a look at the legs at the back. You can see like the panel is a different shade of denim. And I love that when I walk. And I think these will just look great as well, like with a pair of platforms or a pair of heels, nice pair of boots. Yeah, really happy with those. Okay, this is the second pair of denim. Now, these are really big on me, which is not a problem. I love, these are like more boyfriend style, relaxed. They are men's. And I love the wear on them. The fades are just perfection. But there's a couple of things I can do with this, okay? So obviously they're really big. I can use one of these, they're extra buttons. So that opens, no sewing required. It just pins like that. And then you just pop it through there and you put the pin in. And this gives you that kind of asymmetric feel, if you like that. So that's one way I could wear them. Another way I'll wear them is I'll just get a belt like this, and instead of putting them through the loops, like I'll just wrap the belt around my waist and gather it there. So it just gives that nice gathered look. And oh, this belt seems to be broken. Okay, that's not going to work right now, but you get the idea. I'll just hold it there to show you. And then just create that like baggy gathered effect, which I really like. Or I could have this super long belt which wraps around twice, which I love. So yeah, I've just gathered the waist quite a lot there. Let me show you the leg properly. So I'll take you over here to the mirror. I can show you the full length. I love the way the Levi's patch from the back of the other pair hangs down there. I love the men's slouchy fit. They're just really comfortable and give a more relaxed feel. Here's the jacket that I got, and just keeping it with these jeans on and the sandals for a summery look. Just again, really relaxed. And I love the colors in this. They're really cool. Yeah. I could pop my loafers on, which I really like the jeans and the loafers as well. So again, these jeans could be worn with heels, would be really cool. But also just in a really relaxed way with loafers or with the sandals that I showed you. So really don't stress too much about the size when you're looking at jeans and trying things on, because different sizes just give different looks, really. And you can play around and get really interested in silhouettes just by going for a different size than you might normally be. This is the 1920s silk blouse. Really beautiful. I need to fix the sleeves. I just took them off so I could try it on, and that it fits. But really beautiful. I love this. So pretty. It's completely handmade. Soft as silk as well. And these are the other jeans that I showed you first. I'll show you the back, the print on the back there too. So I really love this. Thank you, Beatrice, if you're watching. Yes, I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this one. Lovely and light. And I've just paired it with my loafers. It'd be lovely with a pair of sandals again on a summery day. I really love the old buttons. The buttons are always beautiful on vintage pieces. So yeah, this is a great addition to my wardrobe. So I'm going to show you the last pair of jeans. Now these are the lighter wash, and I'm really happy. I don't really have a pair of light wash jeans. I just love these. I think they're so fun. I love the leg and just the creativity behind that. I love when things are in a place where they're not supposed to be. So yeah, I'm really happy with these. They're very comfortable again, great fit. And I really like the piping detail here. So these are orange Levi's, which are always my favorite as well. Orange Levi's are the higher waist. This top is not from Barcelona. I have this several years now. It's lovely, beautiful cotton. And the sleeves, how fun are these sleeves? I love them. This is all hand painted, which is amazing. Love it. I got this in a vintage shop in Lisbon quite a few years ago, and it's actually very Portuguese. The colours, you know, this blue is very much part of the Portuguese culture. You'll see it in the tiles and this style of painting too on pottery and stuff like that. So this is a vintage piece. It's cotton. I can actually wear it both ways with the button at the front and a lower neck too, which is really nice. And I would pair this with a nice basket and a pair of vintage shades. And that's it. I'm ready to go. I have a lot of pieces here and there's no way we're going to be able to get through them all in one video. So I think I'll leave it here for now and let you get back on with your lives. Or we'll be here all day. But that was a lot of fun. I can't wait to try all the other pieces on and style them up. I'm definitely going to do that. So it'll either be next week's video or definitely in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, so you don't miss that. And please do give this video a like. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I also want to get this piece cleaned up and steamed and everything before I style it up. So really looking forward to that. Can't wait to style the corset. Yeah, that's a dream find. Let me know what finds were your favorite. And if you have a special request for me to style one of the pieces up in particular, let me know that too, and I'll make sure to include it in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate all your likes and comments. They mean a lot. So please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed the content. And yeah, I can't wait to get back to you now with the rest of it. See you soon.